So, are you ready to check out the installation process for Oxygen? Let's stick to my word and let's power through these ones. I'm not going to waste any more time, but do you promise me that you've got a fresh copy of WordPress set up and that you downloaded the latest copy of Oxygen with the Gutenberg add-on? Yeah? Alright, well let's get started. So, what I have here is a clean, fresh install of WordPress, just a default install. You can see there's nothing else here. And what I've got open in this other tab is just the front end with the current WordPress theme. If we go into plugins, we'll have a quick look at the install plugins. This is just what was installed with the default here. So I don't need these plugins. I'm going to quickly delete these. And your site, depending on who this has been set up with, it might have come with like a caching plugin. If that's a caching plugin or any of these plugins are plugins you use that are already installed, that's totally fine. But I recommend turning the caching plugin off for now, just so it doesn't interrupt anything. And then in that sort of post-launch part of finishing a website, you might turn your caching on just to make sure you increase the performance. So what we're going to do here is we're going to install Oxygen, and it is a plugin. So I'm going to click Add New, Upload Plugin, and just go to get the latest version of Oxygen, add this, install. Now you'll see that it gives us a couple of options once we've activated this. It gives us the option to choose a pre-made website or a blank install. Now what we want to do is a blank install, but let's quickly open this in a new tab here so you can get an idea for what you can do with these pre-made existing design sets. Now, there are places that sell these design sets, but Oxygen has its own pre-made design sets. And you can see that with these design sets, there is actually quite a few available for free with Oxygen if you want. Now you can actually just go through and preview these and actually have a look at a live working website. And when you install one of these, it gives you everything that is on that site. So you take a look through one of these and maybe you see something that you like and you can view that as a demo. And if this is actually the site that you want, you can just click install and that will add that to Oxygen. And the other thing is you can install design sets later on if you do want to do that. But like I said, we're doing a blank install. So let's just do this. And on the front end, you'll notice straight away, everything is broken. The theme has totally disappeared. And that's because of how Oxygen deals with themes. I'm going to go into depth with that in another lesson, but just know that this is normal and I'll be explaining why in a little while. Now, while we're here, we want to add a few other plugins. So let's get that done. We'll go to Add New and we're going to add Gutenberg here. So we'll just do the same thing, upload and get the latest version of the Gutenberg add-on. Install that. You'll notice that straight away, the only difference that you'll see is that Oxygen now has this area here for the block library. Now that's really the only difference with adding the Gutenberg add-on. There's a couple of other things I want you to add with as far as plugins, so let's do that now. We'll go to Add New, and this time we're going to search. One of the plugins that I want you to install is Duplicator. So we want this duplicate page plugin. Now there's a lot of plugins for duplicating pages. Yoast is one of them that's popular, but this one here I've found is the best one as it actually will duplicate and work on all of the Oxygen templates and reusable parts. So if there is a reusable part that you've made in Oxygen and you want to duplicate that and just slightly tweak it, this is a really, really handy plugin to have. So let's install that now. And then we'll activate this. And lastly, we'll want to add one final plugin, which is Safe SVG. So let's do that. So Safe SVG is not really an Oxygen thing, it's a WordPress thing. WordPress by default doesn't allow you to upload SVG files, and that's because they have code in them, and it does open you up to vulnerabilities if people are able to inject code into your WordPress install. So with something like this, you're probably going to install it, upload your SVGs, and then you can turn it off. So that's what we'll do with this project. So let's install that now. Again, click Activate. And these are all the plugins that you'll need to get going with this project. Now before we move on, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. If we go to things like the posts and all posts, let's delete this stuff. We won't need this stuff for now, and there's no need for this default content. So I like to just delete it all and then add my own content. So we'll do the same here with pages. We'll get rid of these. You can use this privacy policy if you want, but I'm going to create new stuff from scratch. So let's just do that. Now, so we actually have something set up, let's create a home page and a basic inside page, and we'll just create the about page. So let's add the home page first. And what you'll notice here is that you'll see this new panel for Oxygen. Now, once you've created a page, it will give you an option to edit this in Oxygen, but we don't want to do that. I'll explain this panel in detail later. Home. This is the home page. So we can publish this. So now we've published this page, you notice this big Edit with Oxygen button and a few other things. So let's quickly walk through these. Now, you can actually create Oxygen straight away without setting up templates or anything like that. And if you click Edit with Oxygen, it will allow you to do that. But best practice is to actually just do it properly, and let's get some templates set up. But we'll keep looking at some of this stuff on the screen. So we've got here where it says render page using template. Once we have some templates set up, what you can do is actually select this and pick the template that you want. But the way that you define the templates will give Oxygen a good idea of what template to assign to each page by default. But if you ever need to change it, you can come back here and overwrite that here. There is an option to make this editable in Gutenberg. So anything that you've created that is the whole page, it will turn that whole page into a big Gutenberg block. This is really, really bad user experience from my experience. I think that customers find this hard to deal with, so I avoid doing that and think that it's a much better idea to work with both, custom Gutenberg blocks and the standard Gutenberg blocks. So that's what we'll do in this tutorial. Now, shortcodes. This allows you to copy and paste shortcodes from pre-made things or other design sets or other websites that have used Oxygen. You can copy and paste them from here. So there's some stuff around design set options. Now, that if you're going to turn this into a design set, you can start to include some of these things that you've made. But in general, I don't think that it's best to do this at the page level. This is stuff that you want to do at the template level. So let's just quickly create an inside page with a little bit of lorem ipsum. So let's go back and we'll go to create a new page and we'll call this about, and we'll just paste in some lorem ipsum. Now we can publish this. And we're almost done. There's a few other things that I want to do, which is just basic housekeeping, such as going into the normal WordPress settings, and we'll do a few things like in this general, getting rid of this. So we'll call it custom website designs. We'll save this. We'll also go into reading, and we'll change this static homepage so that we'll use our homepage that we created. Save this. Lastly, we'll go into permalinks and we'll change this to make sure that this is set up as the post name, or if you want a custom structure. So let's hit save and we'll wrap up this lesson. So there we go. Now we have Oxygen installed, and it's time to start looking at all the other settings related to Oxygen outside of the builder itself. So you know what to do. Click complete lesson and I'll see you in the next one.